Hey everybody, my name's Dr. Khalaf with Acupuncture Fit, and I have a special guest on today, Emily Wayne. Hey Emily, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Emily is a mindset and empowerment coach. She is passionate and she specializes in helping people with their mindset and figuring out how to empower their lives. I'm super excited to have her on here. All of this month at Acupuncture Fit, we've been talking about how to calm anxiety when it surfaces, when it gets out of control. And I'm literally just honored to have you here, Emily.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to chat through this. I think it's a really, really big thing that we're all facing nowadays.
Yeah, it really is. And I see patients all the time that suffer from anxiety. It's one of the top things that we treat over here at Acupuncture Fit. And we believe that it's important to visualize your life as step one in overcoming anxiety. Visualize to realize to crush anxiety. So, Emily, it's interesting because a lot of people that I see, they make their dreams other people's dreams, right? So it's great to have role models, it's great to aspire, but there is something on the inside of each and every person that they're here on this earth to accomplish. And we know, because we've talked about this before, step number one is visualize. So right before we get into visualization, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Thanks for kind of that kickoff there. I really truly believe what you were getting at is we all have the answers within us. So I believe that really when we quiet things down and we honor ourselves and take some space to really acknowledge what our bodies and our emotions are communicating to us, it's a really beautiful thing. And so essentially as a coach, that's what I'm doing as I'm walking through life with people who are miraculous and have so much potential and are just absolutely incredible and so complex in so many ways. And we're dealing with such an advanced and complex society that brings a lot of chaos and confusion and beauty at the same time, right? So there's so many amazing different components to what life brings us, and then also it's how we see it. So I think the visualization or the perspective, if you will, of how we choose to see the world and how we choose to show up is so important. So one, walking with people in their life to change that mindset, to say, how do you want to see the world? What do you want to perceive the situation as? Because, you can look at the rain as the worst thing that happened to you that day, or you can say, oh, thank God we finally got rain and it's nourishing my garden, and because of this, I'm going to be able to go pick some yummy veggies out and feed my family tonight. So there's just different ways of looking at things, and I think that's really what the mindset portion and perception and how we want to change and see the world. So I work with people on that, and then I also I think it's not just about seeing and really feeling. It's about stepping into our power. And so I really that's what I want to do is walk alongside my clients or just anybody in life, Anise, you, everyone, and say, hey, let's spend time getting quiet to find out what we really want, access our potential, and then go get it. That's the biggest part. It's not just sitting and ruminating on all the potential that you have. It's really going and getting it. So that's what I like to do with my clients is one, hey, let's listen in. How are you talking to yourself? How do you see the world? Beautiful. There's nothing right or wrong with how you already see the world. How do you want to see the world? Oh, wow. Not just how do you see the world, but how do you want to see the world? How do you want to show up in the world? And I think that's where it gets really, really powerful is we say, man, there's some dissonance here. I'm not quite resonating in the way that I want to in this world. And so it's really amazing magic happens when you step into what do I really want? Not necessarily the stories and making other people's dreams your own, but hey, that voice that says I should do this or I want to do this, is that my own? Or was that given to me? And blessings to all those things that were given to us, but really quieting those voices down and actually accessing your own is such a beautiful gift. And so that's what I do with people.
Wow, you said a lot of powerful things in there. I'm really blown away with that statement. I'd like to kind of break that apart and dive in a little bit deeper. I believe that all successful people had to listen to somebody else, right? They had to really learn from somebody else initially. And some of the most successful people that I've studied, they take time in silence, right? Because there's so much noise in our world, right? And so, and we go about our world with a lot of noise and clutter that we forget about, what is our plan for our life, right? Where do you see yourself in 25 years? And then reverse engineer it from that. One of my favorite exercises that I try to do every morning is I call it my triple threat, right? So in the morning, I like to just take some time to meditate. And I start off my day just sitting and thinking about where do I see my day going, kind of in the moment. Like I've been given this gift, right? So that's a little visualization right there. And then I think about where do I see myself in 5 years, 10 years, where does acupuncture fit going to be even in 25 years, right? And just kind of like focusing on that. And why I do this, and I learned this from one of my mentors, Dr. Josh Axe. He was talking about how Arnold Schwarzenegger at one time had arms the size of mine, right? And I'm not ashamed to say that. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, what he would do, and I mean, if you look at a picture of him and you look at his biceps now, I mean, they're huge. Even now in his life, it's incredible. They're like mountainous, right? Exactly. Let me try to get it somewhat there. But what Arnold Schwarzenegger would do, he would spend hours looking and visualizing in the mirror, not from a selfish or stuck up standpoint, but more from what we call a visualization standpoint. He would see his arms like peaks of mountains. I mean, he would visualize mountain peaks, and he would sit there for literally, like I said, hours thinking about the various mountain peaks and how they look tall and rounded, and look at his arms in the mirror and just visualize them. And then, as we all know where he is right now, I mean, Mr. Universe, huge buff guy, and if you look at his arms, they look like mountain peaks.
Mount Everest.
It's yeah, exactly. My gosh, yeah, right. So it's all about literally like thinking about what and where you want your life to be. It starts with the heart, and I pointed to my head. It starts with the heart, then we say head, hands, and then feet, and you take action. But today we're just talking about the heart, which is really cool. So on the side note, I want to thank everybody who's watching right now. We're super excited, and we're absolutely loving talking about visualization. I'm here with Emily Wayne, and she is an amazing coach, and you can follow her at EM_Wayne, WAYNE, at EM_Wayne on Instagram or Facebook. You can find her, Emily Wayne, and shoot her a message. If you're liking what you're hearing, please heart this, share this with your friends and your family. It's very, very valuable information if you know somebody that's suffering from anxiety and they're looking for some sort of start, and if you want to even be there for them, or if you're suffering from anxiety too. So, going on, there's the steps in visualization. Do you have any techniques that you can maybe recommend, or order of things? What are your thoughts as the expert on, visualization?
I don't know that I'm an expert. I know of many things, but so it depends. Truly, I think on the end goal. Like, what are you doing? In general, what you were saying earlier, I think is so important, that we have such busy minds, busy lives, busy bodies. There's so much happening all the time. Just taking that time, that space to pull back and quiet things down is the first piece, which is absolutely crucial. In Buddhism, they say it's like the empty mind, and that's what a lot of people are working towards, is just some quiet and some peace to be able to access and then visualize what you actually desire, rather than maybe some of the stuff that's lying on the surface, the expectations, or like you said, other people's dreams. And so getting really, really quiet with yourself, just being intentional. I think it's really neat that you have a morning routine. I highly recommend to friends, family, clients to start your morning off powerfully. And to me, what it sounded like is you're being intentional with how you want to see the day. You woke up and it's a beautiful opportunity to create something that you want to create. And so waking up and already feeling blessed, like you have this amazing opportunity to create your life, then taking a little bit of time, whether it's in the morning, afternoon, in your car. I tend to be an aggressive driver, and so I often find myself visualizing calming down, being very at peace with all the other drivers on I-4. Exactly. So really, it's just be intentional and take some time for yourself. Put the dog where the dog needs to be, and actually just sit with yourself with no distractions. Sometimes guided meditation is a really good place for someone to start, but if it's visualization, just take some time, take some really, really, really deep breaths to help with, this is called centering. Centering is a beautiful, amazing tool that is so good because sometimes clients will run in from on their lunch break, or they'll be in between meetings and we'll hop on calls, and you're almost in that next meeting when you're sitting right here. And so if we don't quiet down the mind, the visualization gets a little yucky. And so really it's taking some deep breaths, centering yourself, and then finding yourself in a place where you want to be actively engaged in the excitement of your future and whatever you're creating or whatever you're visualizing. So I always start by being intentional and giving yourself that time, gifting yourself that time. I know it's hard for us to put our cell phones down and to do this, but really it's one of the best gifts I think that we can give ourselves. And then to center, and then just drop into simple questions like what do I want? Like where am I going? And these are some simple prompts that can be really, really interesting if you just sit in well, I know where I'm at now. Where do I want to be? What's my purpose here? These are big questions to ask yourself, right? But they really open up quite a bit for you to start planning and visualizing what you want your future to look like, which is, I think, the best gifts that we can give ourselves is really knowing who we are or what we're gifted, and then going and getting it. That's the piece, right? You step out of your visualization and then you put it to work. So that's where coaching really steps in, is like it's actually applying the stuff that we really desire. It's going and getting it, creating feasible goals to go and accomplish those things.
That's so good, because one of the things that I teach my patients here at Acupuncture Fit is that healing comes from inside out.
Yeah, it's
right?
So good.
Inside out, not outside in. And that's what we're used to. We're here, we see, we think about all of these different distractions outside, and then we take them in, and it's like, oh, this is me. This is my identity. Yeah. But it's not, and this is cross-cultural, cross-religion. I mean, you brought up Buddhist philosophy. I mean, even it's biblical. Abraham would visualize, in the Bible, the stars in the sky, and just literally, thinking about his descendants, right? And I mean, we all know how that story happens. So healing happens, the root of crushing anxiety, or the start of it, that is anxiety that's out of control, because everybody has a little bit of anxiety, and it's good because it makes us work, but out of control is not good. So you do want to balance that inside out. Is so huge. Yeah, that's really good.
And I think the point that you were making with we want to balance it is what works for us. Like what frequency do we want to run on? Because I find that I know amazing, incredible people that run on really high pressure, really anxious, whether it's positions or home lives or whatever, and they're high functioning. But internally, right? And you, I imagine, see this all the time, where that internal manifests in an external, whether it be a pain body or a breakdown in how we are functioning in society. And so I think it's really, really important to pay attention to the inside, right? So listen to that, because it all manifests, instead of thinking that we are the things that are circumstances happening to us.
That's so good. And something that you said also is that you want to ask questions, and it's okay if the answer doesn't come right away. And when we hear the word visualization, it doesn't necessarily mean sight, right? And you've talked a lot about thinking, you've talked a lot about breathing. So in traditional Chinese medicine, there's a theory that we can break everybody's body type up into 5 different categories. So some people like a visual guided meditation to help. Other people like an audio, a meditation to help. Yeah. Maybe some people like to journal or write things down, and everybody can be broken down in these body types. It's something that I talk about in my ebook. And if you go over to our Facebook page at Acupuncture Fit, there's a link there that talks about the different body types, and you can see which type of guided meditation, might be right for you. We go into the types of foods and eating with the colors and the seasons. So it's really just an all-encompassing, realization of what, was inscribed on your heart. What's the meaning of your life, starting from the outside in. Emily, that is so good.
This is good stuff, right? So we're holistic beings. Naturally,
right.
Like there's synergy between what you were just saying, like what works for us what works for me may not work for you. Mm-hmm. And our friend down the street and our mom or our dad. So we're all so uniquely created and miraculous in that way. And so I think that's really neat. That I didn't know that. I'm a journaler myself, so it's something that helps me with reducing my anxiety and stress is journaling. So I pop open 3 blank pages, and I just do some subconscious writing,
Wow. That's good.
Stream of conscious writing, where even the moment, I would never pick my pen up from the paper.
Interesting.
And what it is it's just me giving myself some time to let my subconscious come out and share some of what I've been keeping down. And I'm a firm believer that when we give ourselves the time and we are intentional about listening to what our body's communicating, that can help tremendously with reducing stress and anxiety. And of course, I believe in the biochemical aspects as well, but let's do our part, right? If there's stuff that our bodies, that we're trapping inside, let's get it out. For me, it's stream of conscious writing, and I'll share a story the other day.
Yeah.
I was writing, and I thought I had nothing to write about because I was all in my head. So here I am, I'm going. I start writing that, my hand's hurting. And I don't understand why my hand is hurting so much, but I'm writing that my hand is hurting and I'd like it to stop hurting. But I know I'm not going to pick my pen off the page because that's stream of conscious. All of a sudden, I started writing, your body is communicating. What is it telling you? Why is your wrist hurting so bad? And what eventually flowed out onto paper was, I hadn't given myself the time to share my thoughts down on paper in so long that my hand is feverishly writing.
Oh my goodness.
So that's why I was cramping so bad. I was feverishly writing because I was so scared I wasn't going to give myself another opportunity to share my truth.
Wow.
So the minute I tuned into, why is my wrist hurting? What's happening? I listened to it. I honored it. I loosened my grip, and I just started flowing, saying, I'm going to give myself more opportunity for this. This isn't going to be a one and done thing. Immediately my wrist felt better. I ended up going 6 pages long. It was beautiful. So again, I think just giving yourself some of that space, I didn't even realize how much was trapped down in there, and my physical body was really alerting me of that. And I think sometimes stress and anxiety is a communicator. It's our bodies saying, hey, please don't ignore me anymore.
It is. Oh my gosh. I think we're going to end on that story. That was incredible. Oftentimes we're driving down the road, right, and a check engine light might come on. And if we neglect that check engine light and pull over and see what's going on, our car is going to break down. Our bodies are the same way.
So
that's
good.
Anxiety, right? So oftentimes in conventional medicine, it's great to take prescription medication as a temporary Band-Aid. However, studies are showing that that's not the end-all cure-all, right? So prescription medication is like taking a black piece of tape and covering it over that check engine light, and we keep going with our bodies, right? We keep suppressing what you were saying.
Yeah.
That story is so powerful. So what we need to do is rip off that Band-Aid, open up the hood, dive deep into the hood of our cars, our bodies, and everything will flow in the proper way it was built to. That is so powerful, Emily.
I think the word flow that you just used, I think of anxiety points as blockages in our body. And I think I've had pains my entire life that I'm learning how to release now. And absolutely, the visualization's a huge part of that. We're just actually going in, spending time, breaking it up, and removing those blockages to then be able to flow, like you said, the way our bodies were naturally intended. Because for people that deal with severe anxiety, it can be crippling and it's horrible. And so, we're not trying to communicate that by any means this is easy. It could be a long journey for you, but a really good place to start is by honoring what your body is trying to, what your heart is trying to communicate to you. And sometimes clearing out our minds a little bit is a really good place to start because they are busy.
Wow, very busy.
Yeah.
Very, very busy. Well, thank you, Emily, for taking time out of your busy life for being here with us today.
Thank you. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. This is beautiful.
You're very, very welcome. So if you are watching this and you like what you're hearing, please look up Emily Wayne. She is a wonderful coach, and she will take you to places that you will never have imagined in your life. And you can find her on Instagram at EM_Wayne. Again, that's at EM_Wayne, WAYNE on Instagram. Shoot her a direct message, and I know that she'll be able to answer it personally, right?
Yeah.
If anxiety's surfacing in your life and it's affecting your health and your symptoms, shoot us a direct message at Acupuncture Fit. Again, we've got a free ebook down there that you can download. So again, if you could just heart this, like this, share this with your friends and your family. If you know that they're suffering from anxiety, we are here to help. So
on that note, I think you guys are worth it. So really, even just tuning into this to honor yourself and see what could be offered in this program for you. Any little bits that work, great. Chew the meat off the bone and take it. We're here for you. We want to support you. We're rooting for you. And like Amy said, please follow me on the social media. I'd be happy to do a complimentary session and just see what desires you have in life and how we can get after that, how you can get after that. So thank you for having me. This has been a really, really good time, and I've enjoyed being with you all.
Okay, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.
And a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye, guys.